Once you've created your first HTML page and saved it as index.html in the 3710 folder, you're ready to create a style sheet that will control some aspects of the presentation of that page. So, as you know from the Codecademy, style sheets are simply text files, and they're written in the language called Cascading Style Sheets language, or CSS. And in our case, we're going to save that text file, or that .css file, in the 3710 folder so that it sits right next to the HTML file that it controls. In Dreamweaver, you create and manage style sheets using the CSS Styles panel, which is in the upper right-hand corner of the workspace. And it always starts the same when you're creating a new rule. You need to find the 4 or 5 buttons that are listed or that are located in the bottom of that panel and look for the one that says New CSS Rule and click on it. That will give you the New CSS Rule box. The selector type that we're going to use for this first example is the tag selector, which redefines the look of a particular HTML element. And the selector name, or the tag that we're going to change the look of, is in fact the H1 tag. As it says in the box here, the selector name will apply your rule to all H1 elements. This is very important down here. Rule definition needs to be not in this document only, because if you leave that at that setting, what Dreamweaver will do is stuff the CSS into the actual HTML document. And we don't want that. We want to create an external cascading style sheet file. So for this first time, we'll tell Dreamweaver to create a new style sheet file. When you click OK, Dreamweaver says, all right, that's fine, but what do you want to call this new file, and where do you want me to put it? Well, we're going to call it home.css, and we'll put it in the root folder in the 3710 folder so that it will be saved right next to index.html. So I click the Save button, and once I do, I get the CSS rule definition window for H1 in home.css. So Dreamweaver will tell you in this rule definition window exactly what it is that you're doing. In this case, we want the topmost level heading in the document, the text that's encased or enclosed within the H1 tag, to use the Verdana font. We want the font size to be 36, and let's say we want to change the color as well. So feel free to pick any dark color that you like here, and you can apply that and take a look and see how it's going to appear. And once you like what you see, go ahead and click OK. All right. And a couple of things happen here. In the Files panel, you can see that there is now a new text file that's been created and saved into the 3710 folder called home.css. It's sitting right next to the HTML document that it modifies. And in the Styles panel up here, you see that that same file name has been added to the Styles panel, and if the triangle is pointing downward to reveal the various selectors that have been saved into that file, you see that there's now an H1 selector that's included there. Okay. Another thing that you can see is over here, the source code will show you the HTML document, but there's also the home.css that's available to you now. And of course, you can look at the code in that file right here. As you can see, it looks very similar to the CSS that you created for the Codecademy. I wouldn't advise modifying this by hand, though. I would stick with the Styles panel over here in order to make changes to any rules that you might want to create or modify. All right, so that's it's as simple as that. I can go to File, Save All now to save the changes to the CSS file. And what I think I'll do as the second and last step is to change the background color. So once again, I select the new CSS rule. I select tag And then I need to decide which tag would control the color of the entire document, everything that you see in the window. And of course, it's the body tag that defines what appears within the document window when a browser loads the page. So it's the background color of the body tag that I want to add a rule to. All right. And again, rule definition down here shows you that when you create this new rule, it's going to be added to the home.css file. That's exactly what we want. What we never want to do is add cascading style sheet information to the HTML document. Instead, we want to add it to an external style sheet, in this case home.css. So we click OK. The rule definition window for body in home.css. So earlier we changed the type information for the h1 tag. We added some rules that will affect its layout. What we want to do for the body tag is change information about the background. And here's background color right here. Again, I can make a selection from this panel. I can actually even click on this little world icon and pick any among millions of different colors. And there are other choices here that you can take a look at if you like. But what I think I will do is pick a very light color and take a look and see, using the apply button, what that will look like. And that's just fine for now. So I'll go ahead and click OK. And go to File, Save, All. And as the final step, I'll need to upload the changes to the server so that they'll be visible on the web. And the procedure for that is straightforward. If you have not logged into the server yet today, you'll need to include your password in the request. First, I'm going to go to File and Save All to make sure that all changes have been saved. Then I'll select the folder that I want to upload. Since I've created a brand new file and made changes to the index.html file, it makes sense to go ahead and upload the entire folder containing those two things, which is going to copy the revised version over the old version, which is currently on the server. So I select what I want to upload, use the blue upward pointing Put Files to Remote Server button. It does ask me for my password, so I enter my Swan password. The background activity file should come and go quickly. Sometimes it takes a while for the server to respond. If so, you'll just need to wait for it. But once it's done, you can go to your browser, and on any page within our website, you'll need to find the Lockbox website tool, type in your password, click Open, and there is the new file that includes the cascading style sheet that changes the h1 tag as well as the background color of everything that's within the body tag. While I'm here, it's always a good idea to test the links to make sure that they work as they should. But once everything that needs to be visible is on your remote version, you are done.